Welcome.
Alright, welcome back to Leona, the Radiant Dawn, updated.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's see what's different between this Leona and previous Leona. Previous Leona was... Well, it was previous Leona, really. Oh yeah, she was just righteous. She didn't want to sacrifice somebody. There was like a battle to the death, and she refused to kill her opponent. And then the Mount Targan guys came and took her, and she became like a Radiant Shield Maiden, whatever I don't know what they're called, but yeah. Let's see what's different here.
To the lore of League of Legends. In this episode, we're going to be continuing on with the champions of Mount Targan, and one in particular who is imbued with the fire of the sun, a warrior Templar of the Solari who defends Mount Targan with a zenith blade and the shield of daybreak. Without further ado, I present to you the lore of Leona, the Radiant Dawn. Enjoy. To live in the lands surrounding the towering peak of Mount Targan is to embrace a life of hardship. The many that are willing to do so prove the power of human spirit is strong enough to endure anything in search of meaning and higher purpose. As harsh as the foothills of the mountain's base are, though, it is nothing compared to the hardships borne by those who dwell on the mountain itself. Living high on Targon is fraught with danger. The glittering mist that wreathes the summit descends, bringing with it all manner of otherworldly and radiant creatures that kill at random, and muttering voices that whisper unspeakable secrets that drive mortals mad. The Rakor tribe dwells at the very limits of human endurance. They spend their entire lives honing their warrior skills to fight the war at the end of the world. The word Rakor translates as tribe of the last sun, and the people believe that many worlds have existed before Runeterra, each of which being destroyed by some great catastrophe. The tribe's seers teach that when the sun is destroyed, there will be no more, and so the tribe's warriors must be ready to fight those who would seek to extinguish the sun's light. Battle is an act of devotion to the Rakor,
mainly the void, I
offering
guess.
to keep the sun's precious light shining. All members of the tribe are expected to fight and kill without mercy or hesitation. Leona was no exception. As soon as she could walk, she was taught to fight, mastering sword and shield as if they were a part of her own body. She was fascinated by the mist that wreathed the summit and often spent time wondering what might lie beyond. That fascination, however, did not stop her fighting the ferocious beasts, inhuman entities, and pallid, eyeless strangers that came down the mountain. She fought and killed them as she had been taught, until one day, the young Leona encountered a golden-skinned boy with horns and bat-like wings wandering down the mountainside.
Golden-skinned boy with horns and bat-like wings. The fuck is that?
Did not speak her language, but it was clear to her that he was lost and frightened. His skin shimmered with soft light, and though everything she had been taught since birth told her to attack, Leona could not bring herself to murder someone so obviously helpless. Instead, she led the boy to a pathway leading to the summit, watching as he walked into a ray of sunlight and vanished before her eyes. She returned to the Rakor and found herself accused of failing in her duty to the sun. A boy by the name of Atreus had seen her leading a creature off the mountain to safety.
Pantheon, you fucking snitch, bro. What the fuck, man? I thought you were a manly man, works hard, gets bullied but doesn't care, man, and then, like, now you're a fucking snitch, bro. No wonder you got stitches.
Instead of killing it. Atreus had told his father what Leona had done, and he in turn denounced her as a heretic for going against the beliefs of her people.
Yeah.
She didn't dispute the claims, and the laws of the Rakor allowed only one sentence for such a transgression.
Trial by combat. Fuck. It's like I know this.
Atreus beneath the everyday sun, and by its light, a judgment would be rendered. Leona and Atreus were evenly matched. Her warrior skills were formidable, but Atreus had always been single-minded in the pursuit of martial excellence.
Okay, so she's fighting Atreus. Let me guess, she's gonna win, but not kill him.
None who gathered around the fighting pit could predict the outcome of the battle. The two fought beneath the blazing sun, and though both bled freely from dozens of wounds, neither could land a death blow. As the sun set into the horizon, an elder of the Solari marched into the Rakor camp with 3 gold-armored warriors and ceased the duel. The Solari were adherents of a martial faith built around the worship of the sun, and those unforgiving tenets dictated life around and upon Mount Targon. The elder had been led to the Rakor by dreams and an ancient prophecy that spoke of a warrior whose fire burned brighter than the sun, a daughter of Targon who would bring unity to the celestial realm. The elder believed that Leona was that daughter, and upon hearing of her transgression, his belief became strengthened. Leona was to be fully instructed in the beliefs of Solari, and her wounded body was lifted from the pit and bore from the Rakor toward her new life.
That's one of the cooler skins too.
The Solari Temple was a towering citadel on the eastern slopes of Mount Targon, a glittering spire of gold-veined marble and polished granite. Here Leona learned the ways of the sacred order, how they worshipped the sun as the source of all life and rejected all other forms of light as false. Its strictures were absolute and unyielding, but fueled by her belief in the elders. Leona excelled in this disciplined environment, devouring her new faith's teachings as a parched man would upon fresh water. Leona trained every day with the warrior order of the Solari, the Raharak, meaning followers of the horizon, honing her already fearsome skills with a blade into something sublime. In time she rose to command the Raharak, becoming known as a just, devoted, and as someone put it, zealous servant of the sun. Her path changed forever when she was called to escort a young member of the Solari to the heart of the temple, a girl whose hair was the purest white and a shimmering rune glowed upon her forehead. Her name was Diana, a troublemaker well known to Leona from the example of the temple elders.
Just doesn't like your faith.
Months before, but now returned, clad in a suit of pale armour that glinted with strange silver light. Diana claimed to bring great news, revelations that would shake the Solari to its very foundation.
Oh, this is after she turned.
She would only reveal to the temple elders.
Hey, look at that.
Leona brought Diana in under armed guard. Her warrior instinct had sensed something awry in the girl's demeanour. Presented to the elders, Diana spoke of the Lunari, an ancient and prescribed faith that venerated the moon, and how all the truths the Solari clung to were incomplete. She described a realm beyond the mountaintop, a realm where the sun and moon were not enemies, where new truths could show them fresh ways to look at the world. Leona felt her anger build with every word Diana spoke, and when the elders rejected her words, naming her a blasphemer, Leona knew it would be her blade that ended the heretic's life. Leona saw Diana's fury at the elders' denial, but before she could react, Diana had hurled herself forward. Blinding light exploded from Diana's hands, and orbs of silver fire burned the elders to dust in the blink of an eye. White flames surged in a hurricane of cold lightning and blasted Leona from the chamber. When she regained consciousness, Diana had gone and the Solari had been left leaderless. As its remaining members struggled to come to terms with this attack on their most sacred space, Leona knew there was only one path she could take. She
Path
would
of
hunt down
vengeance.
and destroy Diana for the murder of the Solari elders. Her trail was easy to find.
Well, it was kill or be killed. I mean, come on, it's kind of fair. She didn't kill them, she was dead, so, you know.
Diana's footsteps were like shimmering mercury to Leona's eyes, leading ever higher up the slopes of Mount Targon. Leona did not falter, climbing through a landscape that seemed strange and unfamiliar, as though she'd followed paths that had never existed until this moment. She didn't stop to eat nor drink, letting fury sustain her beyond what should have been humanely possible. Leona eventually reached the top of the mountain, breathless, exhausted, starved and stripped of all thought save punishing the heretic. There, sitting on a rock at the top of the mountain, was the same golden-skinned boy whose life had been spared as a child. Behind him, the sky burned with blazing light, a borealis of impossible colours and suggestion of a majestic city of gold and silver and its footed towers and glittering minarets. Leona saw how the Solari temple echoed its magnificence and fell to her knees in rapture. The golden-skinned boy spoke to her in the old Record tongue. He told her that he had been waiting for her to follow him since the day they met years ago, and that he hoped she wasn't too late. He held out his hand and offered to show her miracles and to know the minds of gods. Leona had never turned from anything in her life. She took the boy's hand as he smiled and led her into the light.
Ah, that's the boy, yeah.
Searing illumination stabbed down from the heavens and engulfed Leona. She felt an awesome presence filling her limbs with terrifying power and forgotten knowledge from the earliest epochs of the world. Her armor and weapons burned to ash in the cosmic fire and were in turn reborn as an ornate warplate, a shield of sunlight wrought in gold, and a sword of chain dawnlight. The warrior who came down the mountain looked the same as the one who had climbed it, but inside, much had changed. She still had her memories and thoughts, was still master of her own flesh, but a sliver of something vast and inhuman had chosen her to become its mortal vessel. It gifted her with incredible powers and awful knowledge that haunted her eyes and weighed heavily upon her soul. Knowledge she could only ever share with one person. Now, more than ever, Leona knew she had to find Diana.
What was that knowledge then? What knowledge was she granted by the aspect or whatever that took over her? And then I'm a new sub and just want to say, as a Smite player, your videos make me want to play LoL. Yeah, that's that's the trap of watching these videos. All right, cool. Let's go next to Diana.